When we talk about Catholic social justice, we're concerned with how it is that we have conversations about important matters, important moral and ethical issues in our society. And so we have this topic of informed civil discourse. How do we have conversations with one another about themes that could be a little sensitive for some? First of all, we acknowledge how it is that informed discourse draws on our experience, both our experience as individuals, our experience as a community, the broader experience and knowledge that we have as a community. We know that adults don't learn passively by simply someone talking to us and us banking away, storing that information. Instead, the way that we learn is we take something, an idea that we hear, and we relate it to what it is that we already know to see if it fits or not. And it's the same with moral issues. When we hear different stances on moral issues, we sort of have to try on those ideas to see how they fit with what it is that we know and what it is that we believe. So in anything that we hear or in anything that we read, then we should be asking ourselves certain questions. First of all, we should clarify the meaning. What is that person saying? When we hear various speakers who are presenting in this class, what are they saying about these topics? We should identify the conclusions, which might be explicit, that might be stated, or we might have to infer what their conclusions are. We should understand the structure of the argument, so that if someone says that something is good or bad, right or wrong, okay, why do they say that? How is it that they're arguing that that thing is right or wrong, or good or bad? We should formulate the unstated assumptions, simply meaning that if that person is making an argument, there are certain things that that person is saying, but there are probably also things that that person is not saying. So what is that person not saying? Especially when it comes to the church's natural law, teachings in the church, they'll say that certain things are right or wrong, but they won't give us certain assumptions that lead to why it is that those statements are being made. We should criticize the premises and inferences, so that when we're hearing something, wait a minute, we should also turn on our critical minds when we're listening, so that it's not just accepting everything as the gospel truth. Instead, wait a minute, we should be critical of what it is that person or that voice is saying. We should formulate alternative arguments, try to see the issue from different perspectives, so that, for instance, Deacon Angelita was giving us different perspectives on an issue. In this course, we're more interested in the Christian or the Catholic perspective on various issues. But at the same time, it's good to be able to look at issues from different perspectives. For those who are in favor of certain things, those who are against certain things, be able to see their arguments, okay? Why are they in favor of it, or why are they against it? Because by analyzing their arguments, it helps us to come to what it is that we believe as individuals. And the final step, judging the strengths and weaknesses of each argument. So when we hear different arguments, say arguments in favor of or opposed to various ideas, then how do we judge those arguments to be able to see the strengths and the weaknesses of those arguments, to ultimately see what it is that we're going to believe in our own personal lives. So various guidelines for civil discourse, which will be important for us as we have various presentations during this course. It's important, first of all, simply to listen. Set aside your own agenda, your own presuppositions, your own education on various topics, so that when a person is presenting on a certain topic, they're giving their views or the church's views on something, okay? It's important for us to be open to listening to other people's views. Other guidelines for civil discourse include not interrupting that person, trying not to immediately respond. What happens when we try to immediately respond? That person is talking. Instead of listening to that person, what am I doing? I'm trying to think of the first thing that I'm going to say as soon as that person finishes speaking. Is that really listening to the other person? Respecting the viewpoints of others, also important. And also giving yourself and others the freedom to be ignorant, which simply means that it's okay to say, I don't know. In fact, isn't it better to say, I don't know, than pretend that you do know something? So saying, I don't know is totally acceptable in civil discourse like this, because it helps us to come to some understanding as individuals and as a community. And also, in courses like this, the discussion is not a debate, so we're not here to debate. If, for instance, if the theme is euthanasia, we're not debating whether euthanasia is right or wrong, good or bad, etc. It's simply presenting various viewpoints, and everyone When you go away this evening, you ultimately have to decide how you feel about these topics. We have to trust that the Spirit is moving in your life and will help you to take in the information that you're learning and to somehow see how it fits with everything else that you've learned about that issue.